have something, we're not going to be here too long, and you'll have a point in the middle, right before the last film, to decide if you're going to stay. But we all are here to celebrate two things. We talked about it in the first showtime. What are those two things we're celebrating today? Kuwait, why? National and liberation. Thank you. So our fourth grade students right now have a quick song. There are a couple songs they're going to sing for you. Let's go. Take it away, fourth grade. Everybody please stand for our national anthem.
وشيخ دويصة. دول فين شلون بلد الكويت أحلى وهي غلا قلوبنا ونحبها. أرض المبادئ والقيم، أرض الصداقة والسلام، الاسم عالي في الأمم لكن محبة واحترام. الله يا روح الخليج لأتراب ذراته أريج، لو تنطفي نجوم السماء انتي لنا النور البهيج. بلدنا يا الأم الحنون مثل غلاها ما يكون، وياها إحنا بكل طريق حبها أبد لا ما يهون. ندعي لها في كل صباح محفوظة يا دار الصباح، والله يعز أميرنا ولأحدنا بالنجاح، والله يعز أميرنا ولأحدنا بالنجاح. لو لفينا مليون بلد الكويت أحلى بلد.
يا أيها البحر قل لي حديث أهل السفينة، حين أنبر للصواري رجال هذه المدينة، وابحروا فوق موج مثل الجبال المكينة، في همة ونشاط وفي هدى وسكينة. بينما كان رجال الكويت يجوبون البحار ويخوضون غمار الأسفار، يغوصون في ظلام الليل والبحر لتشرق على أيديهم اللآلي كالأنوار. وبينما كانت أرواحهم تجابه الأخطار تطوف بلدان الخليج والهند، كانت نساء الكويت ينتظرن على السيف الممتد كامتداد آمالهم، ينتظرن عودة رجالهم بكل حب ووفاء، وقلوبهم مؤمنة وألسنتهم لاهجة بالدعاء. ثم يشاء الله وتشرق الأشعة من وراء الأفق، فتشرق معها الآمال بعودة الأبطال برسل الحلال. والآن حان دور النساء يعبرن عن فرحتهن بعودة رجال الكويت من السفر، برقصة شعبية اعتادت النساء على أدائها عند عودة البحارة من سفرهم سالمين. وبما أننا نتحدث عن التاريخ، فاليوم تاريخ الكويت تاريخ AUS يعيد نفسه. بنات AUS يعدن أداء الرقصة التي قمنا بها منذ 7 سنوات مرة أخرى مع الأستاذ أحمد صباح. من فضلكم حيوا فتيات AUS.
10 or 15-minute presentation by one of AUS's own staff members. Mr. Ronald Grant teaches social studies in the high school. He served, in addition to being part of the AUS community for the last 5 years, he also served in the Iraq War in the U.S. Army for 7 years. So he's here today to talk to you a little bit about that experience and give you a chance to ask questions. So let's welcome Mr. Ronald Grant.
Thank you all for the ones who stayed. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give you a short presentation on my background, a little bit about my background, and then also what I experienced being part of the Army and being a soldier here for Desert Shield and Desert Storm. First of all, I joined the Army at 17, okay? I know I have some 17-year-olds in here, but I graduated high school early and I joined the Army, okay? You may say, why would I join the Army? I'm third generation. My grandfather served in World War II. My father served in Vietnam. And of course, I served in the Iraq War and also in Panama. But when I joined the Army, I never thought I'd fight in 2 conflicts. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible, you think you can do anything, but you find out that sometimes people your age pay a cost for the choices and decisions that they make. So I'm going to give you a little more background into my experience. But when I joined the Army, I never thought, like I said, that I would fight in 2 conflicts. I joined the Army because I thought, well, hey, this will be, fun. I'll get to see the world. I'll get to travel, get to meet different people. But sometimes you get to see, the dark side of humanity when you deal with things like conflict and combat. But my first few years in the Army, I was deployed a lot. I traveled a lot because I went on a lot of missions. And I was stationed at a place in North Carolina called Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is a rapid deployment base, which means that if you're stationed there, you're going to go on a lot of missions. You're going to do a lot of training, and you may see combat. So that's what I experienced my first 2 years. Okay, when war broke out in Iraq, in Kuwait, when Iraq invaded, I was at home on leave from Fort Bragg. I told my mother that after this happened, I said, I know that I'll be there within the next month. And within a month, I was, in Saudi Arabia in the staging area getting ready to invade Iraq. Okay, the preparation for Operation Desert Shield was very tough for us because I was prepared to fight in the Cold War, which meant that I would have been fighting in the European theater. So all of our uniforms were green, all of our training methods were fighting in Europe. So fighting in the desert for us was something new, so we spent a lot of time with preparation. When we actually arrived in Saudi Arabia in order to invade Iraq, we had to deal with our fuel filters on our trucks getting clogged with sand. We had people passing out from heat exhaustion. I mean, it was very, very tough. But the first thing we did was we had to train, we had to prepare. So what we would do when I was at Fort Bragg, we would do physical fitness twice a day in order to get our bodies ready to deal with the immense heat that we faced in the desert. Everybody knows what the temperature's like here in June, July, and August. And I arrived in September, and in September it's still very, very hot. So what we would do at Fort Bragg is we would train in the morning, we would run 2 miles in the morning, we'd run 2 more miles in the afternoon in intense heat to get our bodies ready, okay? All right, what you see is a map. This is a map of the Allied forces right before the ground war. If you look in the middle of the map, you can see an area called Hafr al-Batin. I was just south of this area right before the ground war started. But I'm just giving you an idea of what we experienced and how we prepared to invade Iraq and then liberate Kuwait. All right, when we arrived in Saudi Arabia, we were in a place called Dhahran, near Dammam in Saudi Arabia, and we set up these tent cities. The tent cities were enormous. You had, dozens and dozens of these tents everywhere where we slept, where we ate, where we trained. And for a lot of us, we didn't have air conditioning, so it was very tough living in these tents, during this time of the year. But within these tent cities, you don't have the luxuries that you all know now, like running water, having toilets, having chairs, tables, beds. We didn't have any of this stuff, okay? I slept in a cot for 7.5 months. All right, 3 guys in this image. I actually found these images online because one of the best photographers, or the most famous photographers from the Gulf War, his name is David Turnley. He was with our unit for about a month, just taking pictures of everything that happened. And the 3 guys in this picture, I actually know all 3 of them: Jerry Page, Ricky Harris, and Kevin Stevenson. I served with all 3 of them, but they were part of my unit. And as you can see, this is us in the tent city. Life in the tent cities, whether we were in the desert or whether we were in the staging area, was very, very tough because you had to wash your clothing by hand. Imagine taking a heavy military uniform and washing it by hand, you know. And the thing is even after you washed it, it would still be dirty because when you would hang it up to dry, the dust would blow onto it, okay? We also had to have our own makeshift barbers. I was one of the barbers, okay? I wasn't a very good barber, but hey, I did the best, the best I could. But sometimes when we had downtime, we'd do things like play cards, we'd read newspapers, magazines. I used to joke with one of my friends. I think I read the same newspaper one time, like maybe 10 times, because we didn't have anything else to beat the boredom. We played cards, we'd talk about home, we'd write letters. But even though you're going through a stressful time, even though you know that you may die, you try to be as normal as possible. But it's very, very tough. And one of the things I appreciated about the guys I showed you earlier in the picture, they tried to hold it together for us. They tried to keep us mentally balanced and focused, also physically, physically fit and ready for the rigors of combat. The lady in this picture, this is a nurse. Her name is Amy Stewart. This is one of the most famous images from the Gulf War. She was attached to our unit at the time, and you see her sleeping with the teddy bear on the cot. There were about 8 or 10 of us in the cots, or sorry, not in the cots, but in the tents, sometimes up to 12 people in the tents. So the tents were crowded. The people that you were living next to, you had to, you really had to not be selfish. You had to think about, hey, is my bunk a little bit too close to them? Is my clothing too close? Am I invading their personal space? Because for some people, even though you're living in tight quarters like this, some people have their own attitudes about certain things. So you had to really learn to work together, and you had to learn to be unselfish. The guy in the middle was Seth Irwin. He was one of the people in my unit that could actually beat me in a 2-mile run. So he was a good guy. He's actually an attorney right now. He's from Arkansas. He played football in Arkansas. But Seth was one of the people that when the Iraqi soldiers were giving up, he was one of the people that helped get them processed into our unit, because the unit that I was attached to at the time was a medical unit, and I provide maintenance and security, for that unit, okay? But Seth and some of the other guys, as the Iraqi soldiers were giving up, they were bringing them in, getting them checked, everything else, getting them fed, and getting them processed. This is a Scud missile attack in the Khobar area within Saudi Arabia. This happened in December. I left that area in December and moved and went up north. This happened about 2 weeks after we left the area. We had the Scud missile attack. And we didn't see a lot of the Iraqi army early on because we were in far north in Saudi Arabia. But the thing is this is one of the threats that we had to worry about. We had to worry about Scud missiles. Imagine eating lunch, just during the normal day, and you have an air raid siren go off. When the air raid sirens went off, we had to run to the bunkers. I saw maybe 5 missiles shot down within about a 3-week period. I saw 2 shot down in the daytime and 3 at nighttime, and it's a terrifying experience. These are some of the Iraqi soldiers that we captured. The Iraqi soldiers that we encountered as the war went on didn't have food. They were poorly equipped. Some of them were over 60 years old, but they were fighting for Saddam's army. So when we encountered them, they were giving up by the hundreds, okay? And even though we were trying to liberate Kuwait, we were fighting against Iraq, we knew that the Iraqi people, were suffering as well, because from where we were located, we could feel the bombing in Iraq. That's how hard the ground was actually shaking. The guy on the left, his name is Ken Koskowitz. This is the most famous image from the Gulf War. The reason why he's crying, he was wounded when his Bradley fighting vehicle was attacked by an Iraqi tank. And as he was getting bandaged up and getting his arm taken care of, he found out that in this picture on the right, this body bag, he found out that his best friend had got killed during the attack. This is what happened after the air war, when the ground war started. As the Iraqi army was in retreat, they started burning the oil wells here, as you know. And as they burned these oil wells, when it would rain oil on us. It would rain the oil onto our skins. So as I took my helmet off, and took off my uniform, it smelled like the burning oil. And this was a very, very tough time, some of you have probably seen, well, you can keep it on here for right now, but this is, of course, the road leading into and out of Kuwait. The Air Force attacked the vehicles, in this area, and that's why you see so many damaged and destroyed vehicles. The thing is as Kuwait was being liberated, the Iraqi army knew that they didn't have a chance at that point, and they were trying to get out. And as they were leaving, they were hit by our Air Force. This is my actual unit. You can't see me within here because I'm in the back. The guy in the middle, his name is Eric Love, the guy that's holding up the peace sign for victory. The thing is a lot of us were very young, going into this conflict. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how things would be. But one thing we were grateful of is that, Kuwait was liberated. I mean, it meant a lot to us because you have to take self out of it. You have to think about the suffering of others. Other people going through very tough times. You can talk to the people here in Kuwait who lost family members. You can go to the Wall of Martyrs, now Shaheed Park. You can see the people that gave up their lives, defending Kuwait. But the thing is I want you younger people to think about being unselfish. Sometimes things are bigger than us. Because when I was 17, I thought, I'm going to play sports, I'm going to have fun, hang out with my friends, play video games, do all these things. But then you find out in life, some things are bigger than that. Some things are more important. And this is some of the Kuwaiti people celebrating after the liberation. During this time period, we were on the edge of Kuwait, on the edge of the country, still within what you would consider, the desert area. We were very, very happy that people could have their homes free, can have an occupying army out of their country. It's very, very important. And I know a lot of the younger people, weren't alive, during this time period. But, talk to your older family members, talk to cousins, grandparents about, what that time was like. And maybe it'll make you think about how gracious you should be to the people, who witnessed this, who experienced it. Because, this is a very sad time, within Kuwait. I remember talking to people, here during this time period and how bad it was, the suffering. Okay? I'll stop right there and open it up to questions. I should have said that at the beginning. Funny thing is a friend.
How did you come back to Kuwait?
Yes, a friend of mine was teaching here at AUS 6 years ago, and I worked with him teaching the AP class, teaching AP World History in the States at the time. He said to me, "Hey, I'm working at this school in Kuwait called AUS. I think you would like it." And I was thinking, wow. Should I go back to Kuwait? I mean, I was there for combat, a long time ago. And he was like, "You'll like the school, you'll like the people." So I said to him, "Hey, I'll give it a try." So I applied, I was hired, and that's why I'm back here in Kuwait. And I love Kuwait, so I'm very happy to be here. It feels surreal. It's like a dream sometimes. It really is. Because you experience something at a very tough time in your life, but then, in my professional career now, I'm back, I'm teaching the young people of Kuwait, so it's a very good feeling. Sometimes, you're scared, okay? Having the idea of going into combat, you are scared because you don't know if you're going to die, you don't know if your friends are going to die, because when you're in the military, you have friends, okay? You have other people like you, and you want them protected just like yourself. We're all scared at the beginning, but as we were training, as we were preparing, you don't think about the fear anymore. You think about survival, okay? One of the things that's hard to do when you're in combat is that when you're writing letters home, you know, that's a personal thing. You're writing your mother, your brothers, grandparents, and so on. One of the things I had to do at one time was stop writing letters home because it was impacting me. So I had to leave home at home and focus on my mission at hand. Does it make sense? Okay. He asked, what would I do if I got bombed? Okay, like I said, we did have missiles that were shot at us, and we tried to get to the shelters, you know, in time, but sometimes those missiles would explode overhead, but they were so high up in the sky that the debris didn't impact us at the time.